Hello again, everyone. Continuing with Chicago Week, I'm stopping off at the second MLB team in Chicago, the White Sox, who have had more recent success, obviously, than the Cubs, so they're the better baseball team in Chicago than the Cubs, based on their stats and their recent success. Last year, the White Sox struggled as well, though they had a 73 and 89 record, so they did struggle last year. However, they did win the World Series back in '05, which is only 10 years ago instead of 100 plus years ago for the Cubs winning the World Series. So that's good. They won their division, the Central, back in '08 as well. So again, anything within the last 10 years I consider recent success for a team, especially when the playoffs have so few teams in the MLB making it. It's impressive just to get in because you only have four teams from each from the AL and four teams from the NL making it, so that's pretty slim, especially when there's 16 teams in each league. So you only got a 25% shot before the season's even started of making the playoffs. Whereas in the NBA, you have a 50% chance of making it because 8 of the 16 teams in each conference make it. Same in the NHL kind of thing. So that's why I feel getting to the playoffs in baseball is more of a challenge than in any of the other four sports. Purely because of the amount of teams that make it in. Like I said, you only got a 25% chance of making the playoffs, and that's even before the first pitch of the season. So now spring training's rolling on, you can kind of, if you've only maybe played, most teams have only played maybe a game or two, so you can't judge a team's success after just one game or two games, but you can at least kind of see where your team's going to fall in, and those kind of things you can start to judge pretty quickly and see how the new players you've acquired will fold into the mix and how they'll make an impact on your team. So looking at who the White Sox acquired this offseason to better their team, to obviously have a better than a 73 and 89 record. I apologize. Jeff Samardzija, good pitcher. When you look at his career stats, he's got a 3.85 ERA, 36 and 48 record, but he's got 738 career strikeouts. I feel his record's a little inflated for his stats because he pitched for the Cubs for so many seasons. Not a great team, didn't get a lot of run support there, so that's why I feel his record is what it is at 36 and 48. I feel if he played on a team where he got better run support, you could flip those numbers and you probably have a 48 and 36 record kind of thing. But overall, career 3.85 ERA. When your career ERA is under 4, you shouldn't have a record that's 12 games below 500 for your career. But he's also got, like I said, 738 strikeouts. So he's going to be a good pitcher for you to have in your lineup for sure. Especially when you got Chris Sale and Jose Quintana that you're bringing back from last season. So definitely Jeff Samardzija will help that starting rotation for sure. I'm wearing the Blue Jays hoodie right there as an homage to Melky Cabrera, who obviously left fielder for the Jays last year. The White Sox signed this offseason. So, unfortunately, as a Jays fan, it's hard to see Melky leave, but at least he didn't sign with the Red Sox or the Yankees, because that would have really sucked, because we would have seen him all the time. So at least he signed with the White Sox. He'll definitely give them some pop in the lineup, some depth in left field. Last season with the Jays, he had a 301 average, 16 home runs, 73 RBIs. So that's good. He only played 139 games with the Jays last year, knee issues and that kind of stuff. So we'll see how many games he can play for the White Sox this upcoming year. Some of the other pitchers they've acquired this offseason as well. Left-handed pitcher Dan Jennings. He had a 1.34 ERA, 40.1 innings pitched, and 38 strikeouts with the Marlins last year. So, it's hard to judge a guy who only pitched 40 innings, but a 1.3 ERA is really, really good, and he's averaging a strikeout an inning as well. So that's a nice guy to bring in, as well as David Robertson, who played for the Yankees last year. So obviously you have a championship caliber team that he's playing with, so he's playing with good guys, and probably learned a lot while he was with the Yankees. Last year he had a 4-5 record, 3.08 ERA, 64 innings pitched, and 96 strikeouts. So he's hitting the strike zone, and he's going to get a lot of guys out as well. So with looking at the four guys you have now, with Samardzija and David Robertson, who you've acquired this offseason, then Chris Sale and Jose Quintana, I think that's a solid 4 starters that can definitely improve your record and hopefully make a playoff push with. Last year, Chris Sale, at 2.17 ERA, 12 wins, 200 plus strikeouts, 174 innings pitched, and a 12-4 record. So that's solid right there. And then Jose Quintana, he had 200 plus innings pitched, 3.32 ERA, and he had 9-11 record and 178 strikeouts. So you got four guys who I think are solid starters right there. Chris Sale, I think, is going to be your opening day starter, your like ace of the team, I would say. But Quintana, Samardzija, and Robertson are all guys that can bring assets to the table, can help you get some more wins, and hopefully you can get some run support as well. Looking at players that you signed this offseason who aren't pitchers, Cabrera obviously for sure, but you already have a pretty formidable lineup and players you already have on your team. You have the Rookie of the Year, an argumentative Rookie of the Year in Jose Abreu, kind of thing. He played in Cuba and other places for I say many years, but he's not necessarily a rookie, I would say, and I think that's where a lot of people come. Is a rookie should be a guy that's come out of college and hasn't played professionally in other countries, and then get to the MLB and have a 317 average with 36 home runs, 170 RBIs, and 35 doubles. Those stats are just ridiculous. They're all-star stats, and I don't see too many rookies who played college ball in the States and then they get drafted and then they move up a little bit. I don't see that kind of stats from rookies. That's just ridiculous. You don't see rookies hitting 36 home runs because they're not used to major league pitching, and you don't see rookies of the year have 300 plus averages and 100 plus RBIs. It's just, those stats are just ridiculous. So he's obviously your first baseman, and you're going to want him to be your first baseman for years to come. So he's a cornerstone. He'll help deliver for the team for sure. Alexi Ramirez, your shortstop, a good guy to have for sure. 273 average last year, 15 home runs, 74 RBIs, and he also had 35 doubles. So you got two guys right there with 35 double seasons, which is really good. Like I've said in previous posts when I was talking about the Cubs yesterday, if you can get a guy at second base, singles are great, getting a guy on base, but getting a guy hitting a double, you're already in scoring position without having to risk a ground out or a bunt or a sacrifice fly to get a guy over in a scoring position. They're already there with their own at bat. So the doubles are good to have. And Ramirez also had 21 stolen bases, so he's a nice guy to have for a little speed in your lineup as well. Center fielder, you got Adam Eaton there. Last year at a 300 average, 15 stolen bases. He had 26 doubles as well. So that's, like I said, guys getting on second base with their hits is really good. And he had 10 triples. So that's another good thing to have as well, as guys who can get to second and third base with their at bats and use their speed. Connor Gillespie, obviously, another good guy to have at third base. 282 average last year, and he also had 31 doubles. So all these guys that I'm mentioning are hitting almost or over 30 doubles a season, and that's fantastic to have. Those are guys you can build a championship roster around. And I feel the AL Central is very competitive. You got the Tigers, the Royals, the Indians in there with you, kind of thing. So you'll have to see how they've done. I don't know if Detroit's done enough this offseason after losing Scherzer and Porcello to maintain a 90 and 72 record like the Tigers did last year. I think the White Sox have added assets and have an improved roster that I think will be a challenge for the Tigers and the Royals and the Indians to compete against. Like I said, they had a 73 and 89 record last year. Based on the division, they're going to have to try to get 15 more wins somehow in order to compete in that division to try to win it. That's a lot to ask for a team to turn around in one season, is a 15 more wins in one season. But with the pitchers they've acquired and the talent they've acquired and the talent that they've kept, I think it's possible. I think they'll at least have an 80-win season this upcoming year, so that would be good. Looking back at some of their older players and players who aren't with the team anymore, Frank Thomas is obviously going to go down as one of the White Sox greats of all time. He was the back-to-back MVP in 93 and 94. He had a 301 career average, over 2,400 hits, over 500 home runs, and over 1,700 RBIs. So he's just a beast. And now he's in the Hall of Fame, which is really good. And the other interesting thing is they also had a pitcher who won the Cy Young in 93 as well. So on the same team, you had the MVP with Frank Thomas and the Cy Young going to Jack McDowell, who he had 22 wins, a 3.37 ERA, and 158 strikeouts. So the ERA and the strikeouts aren't exactly Cy Young caliber, but 22 wins is. Anytime a pitcher wins 20 plus wins in a season, that's really impressive. Nowadays, if you can get a pitcher that wins 15 plus games, you're happy. So if a guy's winning 20 plus, that's just elite, and you don't see that happen very often anymore. So it's just interesting that back in '93 they had the MVP and Frank Thomas and the Cy Young and Jack McDowell. So that's kind of cool there that you had the two big awards for players going to the same team, which is just neat that I found. So good luck to this White Sox in this upcoming season. I think they've acquired some pitchers in Samardzija and Robertson, and obviously Cabrera out in left field is going to help them for sure. And hopefully Abreu and Ramirez and Gillespie and Eaton and all the guys I've previously mentioned can continue to produce for the team. And we'll see them have a better season, a more formidable force in the AL Central, and can maybe dethrone the Tigers and the Royals and the Indians and all the teams that did better from them last year, and see if they can make a playoff run. So good luck to the White Sox this upcoming season, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow about the Chicago Blackhawks of the NHL. Bye.